Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. That's Lower Alabama. Hoping that you're doing well this morning on this, let's see, the eve of Christmas Day. And, of course, a Merry Christmas to all of you out there from around the world in Troy, Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, and from the staff and the management of Troy Cable, we bid you Merry Christmas to all, and to all a great day. And old Santa's going at it hard this morning, and we'll be talking to him a little hard. Got a little hard job. I don't know where it's coming from, but I've got something up there that's got to get knocked over. Whoa, Santa, man, do it, Santa. And boy, he's getting ready. Man, oh, you want to see him shake a tail feather? Whoa, look at Santa Claus. Man, oh man, I wish I could turn like that. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, from the staff and management of Troy Cable, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. May this be the best year of your life. And of course, we appreciate all of our staff here. David Doty came to town today to do a little work for us, and of course did a great job with us. And Scott will be in here for long, and Jolene and all the gang, ladies and gentlemen, representing our staff at Today in L.A., and we appreciate all the great work they've done all year long to provide you with more information and good entertainment, hopefully. Santa, I said it's over now. You just hold on now. You got to dance, I know. But see, he can still dance if he wants to, but I got to cut him off. We got to cut him off right here. Yeah, well, I got him. And of course, David Doty's in town, the Big D. And ladies and gentlemen, all you girls out there, remember the great David Doty. And here's my football tickets sitting right in front of me. And if I don't put them in my wallet right now, I probably will lose them. Of course, it is a gloomy day out there if you want to do something outside. But, you know, I told somebody the other day, this is the way it's supposed to be this time of year. Foggy, overcast, rainy. You know, we have a tradition in my neighborhood where we have a campfire, but it seems like every year it rains. And hopefully by Sunday it'll be dried out. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Michael Lehman's calling in from Birmingham, Alabama. How is it in the big city this morning, Mike?
It's just rainy. Not very pretty at all. It's been like this.
But you know what? It's good to be inside in front of a big fire and everything like you are. You got it made, don't you?
Well, I've got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old running around like crazy.
Do they know who Santa Claus is? Do they know who Santa Claus is, Mike? That's what's important.
I think my 2-year-old has a big clue. Yeah, the mornings are crazy around here. But looking forward to the weather. I think it's going to be clearing up later today. I think it's going to be cold tonight, like 28 degrees. And I'm going to try to get up early and get on the road and head to Mobile for the big football game tomorrow night. So hopefully
6 o'clock kickoff.
Hopefully Troy will play well.
I do too, and of course, you know, they went down early. They went down on Tuesday, and hopefully they've had a great time. I know they went up on USS Alabama yesterday. Thank goodness they didn't wait till the day to do it because, man, it would blow them off that ship, wouldn't it?
I tell you what, whoever took that picture, that's a picture a lot of Troy fans love to have. The whole team and the coaching staff on that battleship. I saw that yesterday on TroyTrojans.com. That's a really good picture.
I know, and it sure is. And of course, you know, Troy's
going to be wearing their Cardinal jersey, it looks like.
Oh, good. That's great. Troy will be in there. Well, you don't know what else they're going to have on, though. Please don't wear black pants.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the black pant look. I'll agree with that.
I thought that was the last game of the year.
I'm kind of more of a fan where they wear the white with the Cardinal stripe on it.
Yeah. Hey, I like what this young kicker out of Hoover said. He says, I'll fix those problems at Alabama. Hey, I like a guy that's confident, don't you?
Yeah, you know, I was watching something yesterday where they're showing the high ankle sprain surgery that Tua had, and they had Lyle Kane from Andrews Orthopedics on. This is on ESPN, like an actual little story they did about it, and it's pretty crazy. Like, he actually has like cables that go into his ankle and like will stay there permanently. It's pretty crazy though how that surgery works. The doctor was even saying he was nervous because it was the most anticipated results of a surgery of all time.
But that would bother me if a doctor told me that he was nervous to it. That would bother me.
Well, no, I mean, I think he was just, making sure everything was perfect. He's done it like 1,000 times, he said, but it was just one of those type things, with Tua and trying to get him back healthy. But it showed, like, all the rehab he was doing, even up in New York, the Heisman ceremonies, and, how he, thinks he's going to be 100% for the game. So
no question about it.
A huge game for Troy basketball tonight. Coach Cunningham and staff will be up in Birmingham at Bow Auditorium as UAB and Troy will play basketball tonight, and hopefully Troy can beat UAB for the first time. I would love to see that.
There should be some excitement around it. And I know UAB's got to be concerned after Troy goes to Western Kentucky and beats them straight up. Troy led by 14. Troy led by 14 points, Mike. They led by 14 points with 2 minutes left and almost blew it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was watching it on TV actually.
And but boy, I tell you what, when Troy's two big men play well, they usually win, don't you think?
Yeah, Troy's never had two big guys this good. They got Hicks and Bernardo, and the Adams kid out of Montgomery, out of Carver, starting to play better.
And what I like about him is down the stretch, we got two guys that down the stretch, they'll hit their free throws, and that means a lot.
Yeah, and then B.J. Smith's been there forever, the guard. Troy's got some experience, and these younger guys, hopefully the kid from Decatur, Javon Johnson, who they were really counting on a lot of points, got injured against Western Kentucky. Hopefully he'll be back. Yeah,
and he's a great young talent, and we got to be able to hit the three, and we did the other night, hit 12 of them the other night.
Yeah, and I tell you, that Norman kid they got from Shelton State, he's from North Carolina originally, had three three-pointers, scored 9 points in the second half, and that really helped Troy a lot. He's a pretty good three-point shooter. You might start seeing him more.
Yeah, no question about it. And, of course,
Charles Norman.
Yeah. I want to remind you folks that are heading to Mobile, and I hope a lot of you are. It's a lot going on. And first of all, I think around noon today, they've got the big banquet. And, of course, it's not a coat and tie. You can come casual. And they have a nice feed, and Archie Manning's going to be the speaker, and should be a lot of fun. That'll be in the.
Do you think Archie Manning even gets to talk about himself anymore, or is he just talk about Peyton and Eli?
I don't know. That's probably right. Boy, you ain't got much to say about Eli. Gosh, Eli's on his way out, don't you think?
Yeah, but I mean, Eli's a sure Hall of Famer. He won 2 Super Bowls.
You're right.
You win 2 Super Bowls. That's pretty good.
No question about it.
He won 2 Super Bowls, and Peyton won 2 Super Bowls. Peyton won one with the Colts, and then he won one with the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Of course, a guy we know pretty well was on that Broncos team, DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm sure that probably will never happen again for a guy like Archie Manning to have 2 sons that won 2 Super Bowls. Of course, that was something he was unable to do, as good as he was, but he never played on a good team.
Yeah, Peyton never could, win a national championship in Tennessee because they always got beat by Florida when he played there.
Yeah. Mike,
Spurrier always beat Peyton Manning. Of course, the next year after he left, a guy that I didn't even think was a very good quarterback. I mean, he was a decent quarterback in college. T. Martin led him to a national championship.
Yeah, sure
Get out of Mobile.
Yeah. He's coaching somewhere out west, isn't he?
Yeah, he was at USC, but he got fired, so I guess he's looking for a job.
Want to mention
the former USC offensive line coach was at the Piggly Wiggly in Mountain Brook when I was in there the other day. Neil Calloway was checking out when I was walking in.
He's a good guy. So he makes his home in Birmingham in the off season?
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He used to come on our show. Bud would call him at 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, Bud, don't call this guy. He's asleep. He said, no, this guy's not asleep. And every morning, he'd call over the athletic department at UAB, and there he would answer and never questioned what time it was, anything.
Yeah, Bud was never met a stranger. Bud probably would have called Nick Saban when he cared.
Oh no question about it. Bud didn't take a back seat to Nick Saban. I never saw him awed by anybody, and everybody knew him well. And of course, Wayne Bolt. He raised Wayne Bolt. He and Coach. Don't you know that was quite a chore for a guy like Larry Blakeney and a guy like Wayne Bolt became very good friends, and a guy like Bud Casey and Wayne Bolt, they sort of raised him. Coach Blakeney and Bud sort of raised Wayne Bolt.
I'll never forget when I worked in the athletic department back in college. I worked for Johnny Williams, and Bud was working in the athletic department. And, you know, we were all around Coach Blakeney. So my job before every home game was to put the flags up in the stadium.
Oh yeah, that wasn't easy.
Sometimes I would do it at about 3, 4 in the morning with a bunch of sorority girls leaving local places in Troy. And I remember one time we were doing it in the morning before the game, and I was putting all the flags up, and one of them got stuck. So Johnny Williams and Bud came up there, and we're trying to get it unstuck. And I'll never forget Bud, who had to be in his late 60s. He stood on top of the fence to put that flag up there.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
At the very top of the stadium.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Over.
He was a.
But you know he's 6'6".
Yeah, I know it. He was a conditioned guy, though. We talked about this the other day. Those guys don't stop working. You know, like Gene Chiswick. You know, everybody. You know, he used to be considered a Hercules type guy. You know, everybody knew who Coach Chiz was at Central Florida. And but you can tell he still works out, and you know Bud worked out all the way till the end, you know. And Max Howell still works out. You know, these guys, they start working out, they don't quit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I tell you what, Max, I don't know how old he is, but he's still really sharp on the radio.
Oh yeah, he is, and he's strong. You know, he was a strong guy. You know, he. Of course,
I never knew until the other day that he coached the South Montgomery Academy. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. In fact, once the Atkins left, they had to find a job, and that was right when our private schools, our independent schools, started their deal. And South Montgomery had a real good program. Coach Riles played on one of those early teams, you know, from Luverne. And, of course, they had several good players. I remember a kid, I want to say his name was Phil Rayleigh, or his last name was Rayleigh, that played quarterback for him. It was really good.
What was Atkins' desire to get into pro football? Did he not want to try to get a big-time head coach job in college?
I'm sure money probably had something to do with it. And then, you know, he felt like he you know, he could coach in the pros, and probably ended up coaching in the pros, but he had he was working out with weights, and I want to say...
I thought he coached for San Francisco 49ers.
He did, and then he became a scout, and I want to say he was at out at Texas El Paso or somewhere like that. I know he was out west working out in the weight room, and he died of a heart attack.
So, but he was like only in his 50s, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's another one that worked out all the time. You know, these guys, they want to stay in shape, look good, and you know, I wish I would have taken that hint. Mike, a good article on you know who, TS, Mike, for Troy, the down defensive lineman. Tell us all about him. Trevon Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, he's a kid that came from South Carolina, and you know, Troy's nose guard that usually has double teams, and
exactly.
You know, had a great season. He's one of those type guys that Troy, you know, really counts on to stop the run.
You know, I was reading about a guy the other day, and they said he was he didn't make many tackles because he was making 2 and 3 guys have to block him, and that's exactly what Trevon Sanders did, the big nose tackle, 325 pounds, wore number 90. I'll tell you, he's quite a football player, and he makes a big difference when 2 guys have to block him, Mike.
Yeah, of course we're going to lose him. We're going to lose Hunter Reese, Sedarius Rookard. There's going to be some good players off that defense. Blace Brown.
Yeah.
This will be their final games. But, I was looking last night. Troy really was very fortunate on the offensive line. They only lose Crumney, their starting center, but everybody else is back on the offensive line. That's really big for next year.
That means a lot. And, a lot of...
Dylan Bradshaw split a lot of reps at center, and he'll be back to just step into the center role.
Yeah.
So Troy should be set at offensive line next year.
Yeah. I noticed a big article also on Drew Brees. Probably not a classier, nicer guy to ever play in the NFL than Drew Brees. Everybody
his wife's from Birmingham. They come to Birmingham a lot.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that in Austin, he's in Birmingham a lot, and on a lot of talk radio shows and stuff like that. He's a great guy. He had the birthmark. That place on his face. They said he was born and raised with it. I'm gonna put you on hold.
He's only 6 foot tall too.
I know, that's amazing. I'll bring you on in a minute. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Mike. Will Matthews.
Good, Will. Will Matthews calling in from Dothan, Ozark this morning.
Actually, I'm calling in from Pelham, Alabama.
Pelham? You been get on an airplane or what?
No, I'm on I-65 headed south. I went to a Christmas party last night.
Oh, gosh. One of your rich cousins in Mountain Brook?
Yes, well, my brother-in-law's sister had a party last night.
Somebody told me she got rich in some unfamiliar type job.
She's got a construction company, and back in the 80s and 90s, when they were having hurricanes, she specialized in putting roofs.
That's right.
On houses, and then it just took off from there.
She specializes in putting roofs on houses, and you go down to Panama City area where they had the Hurricane Michael, and you see them everywhere.
Everywhere, those blue. It's kind of like a plastic tarp thing that sticks to the roof.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Mike in right here. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to bring Mike right in here. Let's see here. Whoa. All right, let's see. All right, got you still, Will?
Yeah.
Hello?
All right, got both of you now. Will, got you too? Will Matthews. Mike, got you?
Yeah, I'm on.
I lost Will. We'll bring him on in a second. Hopefully he'll call right back.
You only got 9 more
I know it. I only have 9 more minutes. I'm leaving early on the show.
We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
No question about it. And, of course, Bob Whaley, the Whaley Pecan show that we did will be coming on. Mike, I went by Whaley's, and they fixed me a basket for Dr. Michael Precise that will be the top basket they'll do all year long, I promise you.
Well, it's a great thing to have, as far as pecan lovers, and I know everybody loves pecans this time of year.
Boy, me too. And of course, just fill that basket full of all kinds of goodies, and you can do the same thing for friends or family or business people. Go by the gift store at Whaley Pecan, and man, they just got wonderful treats to put in that basket, and they'll do it for you. And boy, I was proud of mine, and I hope that Dr. Precise and his staff enjoys it as we head into the Christmas season. Mike, of course, everything's going good in Birmingham, and of course, you coming down for the game tomorrow.
I'm gonna get up early and hopefully drive down 65, and hopefully there will be no traffic or wrecks. And
yeah, Mike, let me tell you something we haven't talked about, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, this is my son I'm talking to, somebody that I changed his diapers years and years ago. Mike, let me tell you one thing about our room. I have a king-size bed. You and I got to sleep together.
Well, we might be getting on the road and heading back.
a big old king size bed. Hey, that's plenty of room for both of us. I don't take up much room.
You get up throughout the night. I don't know if I can get a good night.
The problem is what we're going to do about your snoring.
I don't actually snore that bad anymore, but I'll be definitely taking something to knock me out.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got some good games coming up, Mike. Who played last night that we need to know about?
Marshall blew out South Florida. South Florida finished the year losing 6 straight. So Charlie Strong, I don't know. I mean, he was at Texas, he was at Louisville, and had a pretty good first year at South Florida. But Marshall, I heard last night, is 12-2 all time in bowl games. It's pretty impressive.
That is good. I used to love to watch them years ago. When they scored all those points. And they had those 2 great quarterbacks. Name them. Name those 2 great quarterbacks.
They had Byron Leftwich and Sean Hill.
That big old Leftwich would stand up there. Not Sean Hill, Mike. The one I was thinking about was the guru that played for the Jets.
You had Chad Pennington.
Yeah, Chad Pennington. I thought he was real good. And I like their coach, too. Troy went up there and beat them twice at Marshall, and I don't know many teams ever.
Bob Pruitt as the coach.
That's right. Boy, he was a good coach, too.
Jim Donnan, who ended up being the Georgia coach, was one of the coaches.
All right, this week UAB beats Northern Illinois 37-13. Didn't you tell me there was something like 20 or more seniors on this team? It's a senior-laden team.
UAB's got 30.
30 seniors?
Yeah.
Boy, are you going to that basketball game tonight? I would think you would.
I would try to go, but I don't know.
I tell you what, it is going to be a great game, and of course Troy wants to beat UAB. UAB has a very good basketball program. I want to mention the Frisco Bowl, Mike. Ohio just shut out San Diego State. That surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, Coach Solich is...
He's a good football coach, isn't he?
75 or 76 years old.
That's right. But he don't look it now. He looks like a Marine Corps drill sergeant.
Yeah.
Also, want to mention last night Marshall beat South Florida, and Marshall ended up 9-4 on the year. Of course, tonight you've got the Bahamas Bowl. Isn't that a tough bowl? Toledo against Florida International. I say holy Toledo on this one, don't you?
Yeah, they're 7.5-point favorite.
And also, you got the famous Idaho Potato Bowl late tonight. It'll be your late game tonight.
Now, these games are actually early today. One's at 11:30 and one's at 3:30.
That's right, one at 3:30. That would be Boise against Western Michigan. Then tomorrow, you got the Memphis versus Wake Forest in the Birmingham Bowl. Is that much?
You got several games tomorrow.
Do they promote that game quite a bit?
Not much, to be honest with you. I mean, you see a few billboards, around every once in a while.
Okay, the Armed Forces Bowl from Fort Worth.
What they promote more than anything is the Birmingham Irons, that Alliance Football League that starts in February. That's what they're talking about up here more than anything.
Yeah. Of course, the Armed...
trying to have like a little pro football team up here.
Yeah. The Armed Forces Bowl has Houston and Army. Army will run that option and wear them out, don't you think?
Yeah, and Houston's top player is not playing, and a few other guys got injured, so I would think Army would win that.
And at 6 o'clock tonight, tomorrow night, on Saturday, you've got Troy 9-3 and Buffalo 10-3. Both teams trying to win.
Listen to this. Cole Kubelik does a show called Three Man Front. He played at Auburn. He does, SEC Network stuff, and he does the show up here, and he called a Buffalo game earlier this year. And he can't get over it, but this is a serious, a true fact. Buffalo has a place kicker that's missed 19 extra points.
Oh, gosh. And they still use him?
And they still use him.
Isn't that crazy? He must be the coach's son or his nephew.
That is one good thing as far as the kicking game goes. Exactly. That, Sumter's done a great job for Troy. Yeah. This guy has missed 19 extra points.
All right, Mike, I'm going to put you on hold, if you will. Good morning, Will. Is that you?
Yes.
Sorry about that, Will. I'm going off the air early because I'm going to Mobile today. Of course, Will Matthews calling in from the road. Will's also a very important sponsor of our show. The Will of the your law firm has been around a long time, the Matthews Law Firm in downtown Ozark, Alabama. Where are you going to spend Christmas, Will? Let everybody know now before I have to leave.
Oh, I'm going to be down in Fort Walton Beach with my girlfriend.
Well, that sounds funny. You mean you got a girlfriend? Wait a minute. How much are you having to pay her to stay down there with you and cook for you? I bet you got to pay her a bunch of money.
No, she's great. And what time is the Troy game?
All right, the Troy game's at 6 o'clock. And I was wanting to tell everybody going down on Friday, tonight at 6 o'clock is the first of many Mardi Gras parades in downtown Mobile. Will there be over 100,000 people in the parade route? The parade route's about 5 miles long, and these kids have to walk about that long. But the Sound of the South Marching Band will be one of the highlights of that parade, and it'll go right outside the Renaissance Hotel. I'm sure you've stayed there before.
I have. Now the game is tomorrow night at 6.
The game is tomorrow night from Ladd Peoples Stadium in Mobile. It starts at 6 o'clock. It's Troy against Buffalo. Buffalo has a 6'7" quarterback that the pros are raving about.
And this guy weighs like 270 or something.
Yeah, it really does. No question about it.
It's like Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, exactly. Will, if I lose you, I'm gonna be going off there. But I hope I don't lose you. I'm gonna go to Mike Amos right now, bring him back in here, and so I'm gonna put you on hold. Then we're gonna go line 1 to line 1, and then line 1 to line to that. Did that get both of y'all? I heard one. Is that you, Mike?
I'm on.
Mike, we'll see you in Mobile, man. Take care here.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, take care. All right, back to Will Matthews. Will, of course, we want to take this time to wish you and yours a big Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. For years and years, your mother, on every Christmas Eve, would play the organ at the First Methodist Church in Ozark. Is that right?
She played in that church 50 years.
50 years. I know she was left quite a legacy for a lot of young people. Did she teach piano too?
She did not, but she also played for 800 funerals and over 300 weddings.
Oh gosh, isn't that unreal? I tell you, she was the Sarah Ann Whaley of Ozark. You know, that's who did that in Troy. Will, I want to take this time to wish you a Merry Christmas, and I know you got a lot of family, and of course the big Christmas present with that grand girl or grand boy.
It's a grand girl, and she was 4 months old yesterday.
Hey, did Trump send his regards when they had the baby?
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't know of things that Trump does personally, but they say he's a great guy. I mean, they say he's got a great memory and is always very thoughtful.
Now, he loves my son now, and he told my son before the election, he said, "You the hardest working so-and-so I've ever seen, and you've got a job. If I lose the election, you've still got a job."
That made you feel good, and he still lives in Pennsylvania, doesn't he?
Well, he's in Washington.
Oh yeah, in D.C.
Yeah, he lives in right across the river in Arlington, Virginia.
I got you, no question about it. Well, Will, I've got to head out. I'm meeting some people that go down to Mobile, and we're all excited about that. I've got a banquet with Archie Manning speaking. You want me to say hello to Archie for you? Archie who? You remember that old saying, Archie who?
Tell Archie that my next door neighbor was Lee Gross in Dothan.
Oh yeah, exactly. That was his center. That was his center.
Lee played with Archie. They were on the worst team at the time, I think, in the history of the NFL.
That's right. The New Orleans Saints, and he was
terrible.
And Lee, of course, was the center for Archie all those years.
Yep, and he played at Auburn, of course.
Yeah.
And a great guy.
Yeah. Well, Will, I've got to take this time to. I've got to leave, but we appreciate you so much, and I hope you'll call us back when we get back after Christmas.
All right.
Thank you, my friend. Merry Christmas here. Will Matthews calling in. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this time to personally thank all of you for watching my show during this year. And I hope that you've found entertainment, found information that we talk about, with all these sports teams. We're not just a sports show. We'll talk about, you and your interests too. But, what we do probably best is talk about sports, and we enjoy it very much. Again, want to thank our crew here for a great year and a great Christmas. Hope all of them looking forward to that. Go out, ladies and gentlemen, and do something special for an individual. Whether it's that guy begging on the side of the street, hey, help the guy. He must need help. That loved one or that person that is spending Christmas by themselves, how about fixing a plate and taking over to them? Send those kids over to give them a plate of food, or invite them to your home for a plate of food. Do something that will be something that make you feel better, and will also make that person feel better. Remember, Christ wants us to love one another more than anything else. He wants us to love Him and love one another. And let's do that. And I can't think of a better motto to start the new year is to love one another. And ladies and gentlemen, me personally, I want to thank you, and I want to take this time to appreciate all my sponsors. Couldn't be on here without all those sponsors, and they mean so much to me. And Jeans and all these guys have been with me for a long time, and I do appreciate it very much. I want to take this time with my old buddy over here to wish all of you a Merry Christmas, and watching on Facebook this morning, wish you a Merry Christmas. Around the world from Troy, Alabama, Merry Christmas tonight. Merry Christmas from the staff and the management of Troy Cablevision. Ladies and gentlemen, Troy Cablevision, one of the strong cable networks in America, and we've got it right here for you right now. On Channel 2, we are on Facebook, Bob Whaley, going across the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, and of course, with us today, Bob Whaley, the owner and operator of Whaley Pecan Company. And how far do y'all go back, Bob, as far as the oldest company in Troy?
Well, we're in 1937. Whoever's before that will be older.
Yeah, Douglas Brothers Jewelry was 1867 or something like that.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? That drugstore has been, not drugstore, but
Jewelry store.
Jewelry store has been there so long.
Right. Yeah, we started as a fruit stand in 1937, probably downtown somewhere, selling apples. And my grandfather's selling apples and oranges and anything else he could sell down there.
And then he started selling pecans. Look at all those pecan trees. Let's start selling pecans.
He started selling in-shell pecans, and sold them for a while. He was mostly an in-shell dealer.
Yeah.
And then after a while, somebody, asked him for some shell pecans, so they
started cracking pecans
by hand, and put them in little brown bags and all, and started selling them. And then what kind of led to the shelling business, one time they got a big order of like 100 pounds from somebody up in Kentucky or somewhere.
Yeah.
So they didn't think they ever would get that up.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, that is how it all got started now. And of course, for the last 50 years or more, y'all have been in the shell pecan business.
Right. When my father got into it about 57 or so, he got to looking, and he found some old boxes and all in the back where my grandfather was selling pecans up front, and
Yeah.
they looked in the boxes, and some of them had crackers in there.
Yeah.
So he started cracking and shelling pecans, or one or two of those, and then it just went on from there.
Well, it started. Well, let me see if I can get them out of here. It started with this right here, the sack
Yeah, just
of pecans. This is what it started with, and of course, you know, there's quality pecans, Elliott's, and ours was a little seedling tree. It wasn't the real small pecans, but it was a little bit smaller than usual. But y'all bought them the same,
yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah, they were good. Now those are the big desirable pecans.
They ship all over the country, don't you?
Oh yeah, the people order out of the catalog.
Yeah, that's right.
That
And you've got these catalogs.
right here on the
Yeah.
back here, you can order a bag
Yeah.
of slides or desirables.
Yeah.
Now the slides are the thin shells. They call them paper shell.
Yeah. And boy, that's a good pecan. Now, this weighs pretty good bit, so the freight on it's pretty expensive, isn't it?
Well, freight's expensive. for
Anything.
nowadays.
But let me just say this: you can call Whaley Pecan today, and even with this right here, you can. My father-in-law, Roy Crow, was a big customer of yours, and every Christmas he would send 15 to 20 of these things out to either friends or business people, and people were glad to get them, you know.
Right. The only bad thing, if you didn't send them some the next year, they get mad at
That's
you.
right. But what a lot of people will do when they get this, they'll say, you can go down to Whaley Pecan store today and buy this, and then tell them you want them cracked.
Right.
Or you wouldn't tell them you wanted them shelled, but you would probably shell them, wouldn't you, if you wanted to?
Well, we crack them. We don't shell them.
Yeah.
You know.
So when they
we just
crack them, it
you
just
have to pick them out.
that's
yourself.
right, and you pick them out yourself and get ready to cook with them or salt them and.
But it gives you something to do in front of the TV.
Exactly.
To pick them out.
And then what it does, it comes. They start coming out in different packages. Like this right here is a fancy medium piece for cooking, pretty much. Is that right?
Cookies, pecan pies, fudge,
Yeah.
and so forth. It takes about 2.5 pounds to make 1 pound of those.
Okay, I was wondering. And of course, this is what you want to do. This would be a great gift to anybody at Christmas, but especially somebody that likes to cook.
Right.
You know, like your aunts and your uncles, or your grandmother, your granddaddies, that you know are going to do some cooking this Christmas. Go ahead and buy this and send it to them, or drop it by yourself. And it's all about getting ready for Christmas.
We got some recipes right on the back of the bag. That pecan pie recipe so simple that I can even make it.
It really is, and if you want to show off, guys, it is so easy. The Southern pecan pie. 1/4 cup of melted butter, which is easy. 3 eggs beaten. 1/2 cup of dark corn syrup. 1 cup of sugar. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. 1 cup of pecans. You mix them all together and pour into an unbaked pie shell. Bake at 350 degrees until firm. Then let it sit for about 45 to 50 minutes, and you've got one of the best pecan pies in the country.
That's right.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about this. Now, this is something, of course, that Whaley has been famous for years. But, everybody said, my grandmama's pecan pie is the best pecan pie in the world. Well, these are 2 actually in here. Is that right?
Well,
or
let's
there's
see,
one?
Mike, there
are 2 of them.
One of them is a chocolate pecan pie.
Yeah, chocolate pecan pie. Yeah, I got you.
That one
is a chocolate pecan pie.
It's got little chocolate chips right there on the front.
That's right.
And then this is the regular pecan pie.
Yeah. And they're very easy to ship in these boxes. Is that right?
She designed these shippers this
exactly.
year, which will keep the pie in one piece when you ship it.
Exactly.
And she puts this in another box with some wrapping, and when you get it, you just open the little box like this and slide it out.
Oh, man, that's easy, and show that. Man, what a beautiful pie.
You'll get a...
Now, the key to a great pie is the crust. Is that homemade crust? Or did y'all...
I think she gets her crust in, and I don't know about these big crust. I know the little crust you get some in, but
well, and then
notice
of course
it's got plenty of nuts on there, and it's all even. I mean, it's a great pie.
Is that done with Karo syrup, or what kind of syrup do you use?
Or
just
I don't know. That's something Melissa came up with, but she I can't remember if it's a dark syrup or a lighter syrup.
Well, I'll just say this,
so how much do the pecan pies run?
Sir?
How much do you charge for the pecan pies?
I think they're something like $11.95.
Okay.
And let me just say this is one of the best pecan pies you'll ever eat, I promise you.
And they're cooked fresh daily, you know. They weren't sitting out for 5 or 6 months somewhere.
This is a
So
bourbon.
if I wanted to go buy some Bluebell ice cream, Dad, you could go pick me up a pecan pie, and I could have a pecan pie for lunch today.
That's right. And what I would do, I'd stick that pecan pie in the microwave and then put the ice cream on top of it. This right here is a bourbon chocolate pecan pie, and the ingredients are of course, white granulated sugar and light corn syrup, egg, butter, pecans, all-purpose wheat flour. I mean, it tells you exactly how to make this pie. And of course, you call that the old-fashioned pecan pie.
Right.
The reason we wanted to show you this is how you ship it, and ship it to your friends or business partners or friends across the country and say, this is a taste of Christmas from Whaley Pecan Company in Troy, Alabama. And of course, there you have your competitors, but when it says Whaley, believe you, what I'm saying, if it don't say Whaley, believe you me, you don't want it.
Now that's Melissa's, we got a kitchen there at the plant that she put in a couple of years ago, and she bakes these little pies daily, the little small ones. And
now this is fudge right here.
She came up with some fudge, and that's chocolate fudge with pecans in it.
See, and I love fudge with pecans in it, and this right here would make a wonderful little gift for some friends, or a wonderful, look here.
That's something else she's
right here with a Christmas tree that they've got here with white chocolate.
This is a chocolate pecan pound cake. Now, that's what you need with your cup of coffee and
exactly.
Your eggnog or something to sit down, and you got to be careful that you don't eat the whole thing.
And, of course, this Whaley fudge here would be a good stocking stuffer,
It would, yeah.
And, of course, all in the store is open.
What are y'all's hours during the day to pick up these items?
From about 8 till 4:30 is the best time to come. And on this time of year, we're open Saturday till 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, another thing, too, what is your telephone number? Give us an easy telephone number.
It's 566-3504.
566-3504. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the easiest shopping you can do. Here's these pecans. Of course, you're famous for something that a lot of people don't have. You got friends out there. You say, well, what am I gonna get you, Uncle Jesse? He's got everything. I bet you he doesn't have any Whaley pecans, famous pecan brittle. And ladies and gentlemen, this is as good a brittle as you're going to ever eat.
It's really thin. See how thin it is?
Yes,
it doesn't just stick all over your
teeth. That's right.
And all, it's crunchy and thin.
It's easy to eat, and of course, this is you've got, and this is another package that you can send. Now, you can put together a big basket of different types of things, and while you're at the pecan store at Whaley's, you can you can pick out exactly what you want to go in that basket, and
we'll make you a basket.
Exactly right. And of course, you can have the fudge and another thing that you're going to see a lot of during the Christmas season is the pralines. Is that what that is? You're famous for this. This is you make this for New Orleans, don't you?
Pralines. We sell pecans to numerous people in New Orleans, and they make they call them pralines in New Orleans.
Oh,
and that one probably comes out of Texas. It's a praline from Texas.
Exactly. But you have you send products to stores all over the country.
Right. That's our pecans in there, and somebody else's makes the pralines.
Right now, and we've been talking about, and we're gonna, when I get ready to eat, or you mentioned Whaley's, and Mike's listening too. This is what we were talking about earlier. These are what you call your toasted pecans, and of course this is that you see them at any party you go to. You know, it's about like having peeled shrimp. You know, if you put out pecans, they're gonna be gobbled up before you know it. And of course, this is for a pecan lover or for any party treat. This is one of the items you want right here.
Now, if you crumble that up and sprinkle it on ice cream, now that is really good.
I know it. No question about it.
I'm interested to ask Mr. Whaley, I mean, did you ever think you'd see a day where pecan prices have just gone through the roof? I tell Dad I go buy bags of pecans in grocery stores in Birmingham, and some of them are like $9 to $10 to $12. I mean, is it just a shortage of pecans now throughout the country?
Well, you can probably blame the Chinese for the price increases the last 3 or 4 years. They came in and started buying up most of the pecans in the state of Georgia, the large ones, in the last 2 or 3 years. But I don't know whether it's unfortunately or fortunately, but the Chinese, due to the tariff, completely stayed out of the market this year. So I think you'll see pecan prices moderating.
Yeah. Is this tariff backfiring on Trump, or did he think that China would react like that?
I think it's something he had to do. Of course, the Chinese agricultural tariffs, affect certain commodities like soybeans and so forth. And then you got a tariff on steel and all. And I think that he had to do something dramatic to get them to come to the table to create a fair marketplace for their products and ours.
This is another way to buy the pecan, especially for people that do a lot of cooking, especially at Christmas, your grandmama, your granddaddy, or any person that you know. I tell you, my friend that bakes that Italian cream, she's always needing pecans, and of course, this is a great way to buy it. And this is fairly easy to ship too. Is that right?
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you got an iced tea jug when you get through with it.
Oh yeah, iced tea or a bank, a little piggy bank.
Exactly. You make you a bank.
Yeah. Now you've got these on sale at the store, and you can put together as many of these as you want.
Right.
And of course, again, call that number again and tell it to me again,
566-3504.
And say you want to send one of these to 505 University Drive, Athens, Georgia, and it'll get there. Is that right?
That's called the gift gallon.
Yeah, and what you do, just give them your credit card, and you're ready to do business. No question about it. Of course, another great way to to me, Whaley is a luxury. It's like anything. It's like fine drink, a bourbon, or wine, Whaley's is a quality item. You're not gonna. Whaley's not when I say a quality product, you're gonna pay a little bit more for a quality product. And this right here is a wonderful package with your famous chocolate pecan.
Alabama logo.
And it's got the Alabama logo, and of course Bob's an Alabama graduate. But this is a Houndstooth hat logo, and any Alabama fan would love this. And y'all package this yourself, right?
We do, right there, yeah.
And of course the chocolate, you got your chocolate covered pecans, your vanilla, or what I call your white chocolate.
And coated pecan.
And then
some of them are praline coated, and some of them are bourbon pecan coated.
Make your list and send them out to some of your Alabama buddies out there and say, hey, Roll Tide, just want to send you something in the mail. And of course, all these products, and we talk about this, not only can you walk in the store and buy these products, and of course he's got the products in numerous stores all over the country, but right here in Troy, it's so easy to walk in and just say, hey, give me this, and if you don't mind, mail it, or I'll take it home and hand it. But wonderful gift right here.
I think we had to put out an Auburn product too. Some 2 or 3 people
said
something
we're
about
gonna do that. Sure.
They didn't know if we had an Auburn product out, so we had to come up with something for that also.
No question about it. And of course, very unique things. This is the same idea with a wonderful package.
That's an all natural. Some people, you know, can't eat sugar
Yeah, that's
or
right.
salt or so forth, but this package here, all the packaging here is just all just natural pecans.
Yeah.
They don't have
So you
anything
can buy
added.
you can buy a lot of products at Whaley's that are unsalted. Just tell them you
Right.
want them.
And no
you want
sugar,
them.
no
Yeah.
salt.
And of course, this is another great gift idea from Whaley's Pecan Company right here in Troy, Alabama. And if you're watching on Facebook across the country, that telephone number is 566
3504.
3504, and you
Area
can call
334.
area code 334 566
3504.
3504. I'm gonna write it down in a moment. And of course, wonderful products, and you know, I tell you, the thing is so proud that, and of course, you're an old Trojan, and you're a proud old Trojan. You want everybody to know that it's Whaley Pecan Company, Troy, Alabama. You on all your labels it says Troy, Alabama.
Right.
Do you?
We have some Troy University literature that and labels, and then we have some Troy labels. Some people want to send somebody a product from Troy, Alabama, or Troy University, and we can fix that up to have the logo on it.
Exactly right. And of course, you know, like these, this is one of your top selling pecans. It's a smaller pecan, but this is what you call a Elliott. And of course, a lot, you know, you've got different trees in town, and you know exactly where all the good trees are. And of course, if they're an Elliott tree, it's going to be a quality. What would you pay somebody that brought in a croaker? Do you still get croaker sack fulls? Do people still put the pecans in croaker sacks? I always put mine in croaker
The
sacks.
local people use croaker sacks
Right.
or a bucket.
Now, what would you pay for a pound of per pound to somebody selling Elliott?
They're selling for small amounts around $1.25 a pound.
$1.25 a pound, and I tell you that's not bad, and that's a quality product. Your basic pecans around here would run what? What would you pay for?
They're
per
running
pound?
from 70 to 75 cents.
70 to 75% for pecans per pound, and you'll pay cash for them, won't you?
Oh yeah.
Now let me tell you, growing up,
Tell me
ladies
this
and
about
gentlemen,
the history of pecans. I mean, this might be a dumb question. Were pecan orchards and trees native to the United States or America, or did the Europeans bring pecans over?
No, the pecan tree and the pecan is the only Native American nut, and it was here when the Indians were here. So they had a name. They call it.
Does it grow just in the southeastern states, or does it grow all over the country?
It grows as far north as Missouri and Kansas. And
That's interesting.
George Washington had 3 or 4 pecan trees.
I thought he just had cherry trees.
He had pecan trees on his plantation, and Thomas Jefferson had pecan trees. So,
Yeah.
you know, they've been around for a while. The Indians ate pecans. They used to have these nutting stones. You might have seen some at a museum or something, like an iron ore rock, and it had a little depression in the middle. They'd put the pecan in there and mash it and crack it, and I think the word pecan is kind of like a nut that's hard to crack or so, that the Indians used to call.
Exactly right. Now, do y'all, this is something that's very unique. Everybody loves salted pecans, and at parties, Bob, you know, back when I was in the partying mood, you've been to a lot of parties at my house. You know why you were invited, don't you?
That right there.
Yeah, he was in right there because he would bring these chocolate-covered pecans, and of course that delicious chocolate. Now, do y'all do this yourself, or do y'all have this?
We have this done.
And of course, this is quality chocolate too, isn't it?
Yes, the chocolate that we use is a real creamy, double-coated chocolate on the nuts, and when you eat some of that chocolate, you're satisfied. You've eaten chocolate, but you know, some chocolates you can eat 2 or 3 pieces, and you just kind of still want some chocolate.
Yeah, exactly right. But of course, these again would be excellent stocking stuffers or neighborhood or drop some in the mailbox, and say to the mailman or anybody that would want something with great quality. Now, this is the Cadillac, ladies and gentlemen, of pecans. This is not your average pecan company. This is not your average candy store. This is Whaley Pecans, and it's been a legendary place to buy pecans since what, 1935? 37, and right here in Troy, Alabama. And we're sort of famous, really, for Whaley's. Is that right? The people know across the world know Whaley's, don't they?
That and Crow's Chicken.
That's right. Exactly right. And now let me tell you we're gonna go back to this right here. Your roasted pecans. Now, some people can roast pecans and some can't. My Jerry, my preacher's wife at Calvary, can do it as well as anybody, but you got to know how long to roast pecans. Now, tell us about that.
You talking about Miss Lowry?
Yeah, Miss Lowry. Miss Jerry Lowry, Mac Lowry's wife, gives me toasted pecans a lot, and they're just wonderful. I mean, but you got to know how to do it, don't you?
You actually got to take them away from the heat before they completely are finished roasting.
So don't leave them in the oven.
If
Is that
you
right?
leave them in the oven till you think they're roasted, well, when you take them out, they're going to be over roasted because they're still hot, and they're going to keep roasting. So you have to take them out almost before they're ready.
All right, give us sort of a time. Do y'all do that?
We do. We have a roaster at the plant, and now we've got fresh roasted year round. And,
man.
We go back there when we run out, and we just roast some more and bring it up to the office. So you can always get fresh roasted pecans in the office at the plant.
Isn't that wonderful? But now, again, it doesn't tell you exactly how long.
It takes
do you microwave them or put them in the oven?
No, she has peanut oil. Those are roasted and oil roasted.
And this is your peanut oil right here?
Well, that's pecan oil.
Pecan oil, okay, peanut oil.
But it takes about 3.5 minutes, roughly, at a certain temperature.
For a pound or what?
She roasts probably 10 or 15 pounds at a time. And
for 3.5 minutes?
It looks like a French fry basket.
Yeah,
You've seen people cooking French fries?
Sure.
And they dip them down in there. And
they're frying them, are they?
Frying them, and then at a certain time they pick them out and drain them, and then...
So that's what she's doing to make this?
Yes.
Wonderful. And what, 3.5 minutes?
It's somewhere around 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, this has got to be the top product out there, especially this time of year. This is the great party snack. And Mike, I know you'll go to a lot of parties this year. And let me tell you this: if it says Whaley, it's like saying Mercedes or Ford F-150, or you know what I'm saying. The product speaks for itself, doesn't it?
All of our pecans every year probably were on trees 2 to 3 weeks ago. We buy them directly from growers and from pecan growers, and we haul them in by the truckload, and then we shell them and pack. And everything we have is new crop pecans, freshly shelled pecans. And that makes a big difference as compared to picking up something that's been sitting in the store.
No question.
Do y'all offer any positions just as like a pecan taster where I can just come in there and try all the
Actually, we encourage tasting around the plant, because when we get pecans and we're grading them and so forth and determining where to buy them or not, that's part of our quality control is taste them, because we say, hey, people have to eat this. So you have to have a good tasting nut.
Exactly. For Christmas, what a gift! What a gift right here for Christmas. And of course, the way y'all you have a lot of this right here. And again, these are easy to ship, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that's a 7-way 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's a Heavenly Delight. It's got several different kinds.
You got several different
those
kinds.
are easy to ship, and it's got a plastic seal thing, security seal all around it to keep the lid on.
And then on the back, it's got that signature, Whaley's sign there. Let me just say this. I was talking about you know, and of course, today, right now, there's people at Whaley's that will take your pecans and put it on the screen, they call it, on the screen, and they'll take a look at your pecans. They don't want your pecans wet, is that right?
Right. We hadn't got any way of drying them.
And you don't want them mixed. And see, I was so bad about that. I would take some seedlings and I would take some stewards, and I'd take some others and put them in the same sack. You don't want that. You want them to put them in separate sacks.
Well, you would just get the seedling price if you did that.
That's right,
Which
yeah.
has usually been the less. But if you separate them, then you
might
get
get more for it, don't you?
Like a
But,
special
ladies and gentlemen, here it is. I'm an old college student, or I'm a little boy that used to pick up pecans and make money and buy my family Christmas gifts. Let me tell you, in my mind today, if somebody out there doesn't have a job but has pecan trees, he can make some money. I promise you. But when I put them on the screen, they would start reaching in there because they'd see pecans with holes on them. Of course, y'all have a screen, and then let's go through the process. All right, you'll take those pecans and you'll write a check and give it to them for, let's just say they brought in 50 pounds in a crocus sack at at 75 cents a pound. Right. You'll write them a check.
Right.
All right. Now, what happens to those pecans?
Those pecans end up going into a grater. They're all graded according to diameter. And the shelling plant, we shell one diameter at a time so we can set up our equipment back there. So it's like a 12/16 or a 8/16 or
you're talking about the size of the pecan?
The diameter is right through the middle of the nut. If you took a ruler and measured right through the middle of the nut, and if it said a 7 or 8, it would be a 8/16 or 7/16 diameter nut. And then we would set our equipment on that. See, we're trying to get as many halves out of this as we can. And if we don't get it just right, then we get a lot of pieces. That's where the pieces come. They are broken up in the shelling process.
Sure.
And of course, there are some pieces that we sell a lot of pieces every year, the candy manufacturers, and we'll take a half that was picked out that's not too pretty as a half, and we'll break it up, and it makes a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
Little square blocks.
And of course, it's a wonder how that machine's able to crack that pecan, and evidently you can crack it multiple times at one time. Is that right?
These
to actually get the whole pecan out,
we have the latest crackers. They're called rotary crackers, and they crack about 1,200 a minute per machine, and we've got about 5 machines in there. So it's similar to a Gatling gun. It's got a revolving turret, and instead of bullets,
and they come out perfect.
Well, not all of them. It breaks up a few, but most of them it cracks them. They're all cracked with air pressure.
Yeah.
And it puts a tension on the nut almost to the point of crack, and then it fires a shuttle by air, and the shuttle hits the back of the die where the pecan is located, and it just shatters the shell, and the pecan drops out.
Isn't that amazing? All right, now after those pecans that drop out, then what happens?
They go through a sheller, which the ones that didn't completely separate, it shells them out. It's a series of fingers that revolves, and
what do you do with that part of the pecan that doesn't taste good, that sits right in between the two?
The petition.
The tissue. Is that what you call it? What do you do? What do you do with that? What do you call it now?
Petition.
Petition. You remember the part of the pecan that's in the middle that divides the halves?
It blows out with blowers. It's lighter weight than the shell, and it blows out and goes out in the shell bin.
All right, so now you have shelled these pecans. I'm sure you cleaned them in a way.
Well, what do you do with all the shells afterwards?
We have somebody that comes by and get them, and they're used as fuel, and they're used in fertilizers, and used several different things. Mulch and so forth.
Beautiful mulch.
And we have sold them by the truckload, and they're used as fuel at some of these cement making plants. And they pecan shell burns with about the same BTUs as coal.
Wow.
And it has
Isn't that amazing?
almost no residue. It completely burns up. You know.
Isn't that amazing that you can just use every single bit of it?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The product, yeah. No question about it. And of course now, can the individual pull up there and or do y'all usually sell the product?
Well, we pile some out beside the plant
Yeah.
that individuals can come and kind of scoop you on type of deal.
Isn't that nice? All right, so you've got these. Now you've cleaned them and they're ready. They're perfect, ready to. What do you do then?
Then they have to be dried to 4% or less to prevent any mold or so forth.
And now how do you do that?
We have a continuous dryer. It's a natural gas continuous dryer they go through. It's a 2-stage drying and 1-stage cooling.
Yeah.
And then they go to inspection tables, which they have an inspection by the women that get one last look at them before they go in the case. And of course, they're constantly also monitoring and checking moisture.
Yeah.
And
all right, now you've done that. What happened?
They're cased up, and most of them are cased up in either 28 or 30-pound cartons.
And then one of the cartons was what I had just a while ago, the big barrel. That right there, is that one of the cartons?
No, it would be a 30-pound corrugated carton.
Yeah, I got you.
And it's in a poly bag on the inside.
Exactly.
And most of them are shipped out like that on a pallet.
2 candy companies, pretty much. Is that right?
They get a stretch wrap pallet of those. It may have 56 cases on it. And they're stretch wrapped real good, and the label and all's put on there. And most of our stuff is shipped out what they call LTL, which is less than truckload.
And where are some of the places? Overseas even? Different places across the country?
Most of them are within the continental United States. Now, we ship a tremendous amount of these small gifts to customers in Alaska. That's a real popular
pecan
location. Right. And for those people who don't necessarily, we always try to put something different in the store.
Look at that.
For people who like coffee, this is the 12 coffees of Christmas.
Yeah, 12 coffees of Christmas.
You can have one a month. And, if you don't
and
like
this is another gift for somebody that's got everything.
Right. It's kind of neat, You open it up and it tells you about these different coffees, and it's easy to ship. You just fold it up and put a card in there and ship it.
And I tell you, this is another one of the great items that you can find at the pecan store right there at the building. Again, if you're wondering how to get there, it's so easy. If you know where...
it's behind the big Troy University building on Brundage Street.
Yeah, and you turn right there at the pizza place. That's Little Caesars. Either coming or turning right right down from Little Caesars. It's called Pecan Street, isn't it?
Yes, actually, my father suggested to the city that they name it Pecan Street. It used to be Thompson Street.
Yeah, that's right.
On down. And he said, you got a Elm Street and a Oak Street
that's
and
right,
all this. He said, you don't have a Pecan Street in town, so they named it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, if you don't like
the 12
coffee,
teas of Christmas.
You can drink tea.
This is teas, the 12 teas of Christmas. Yeah, of course, you've got everything, no question about it. And of course, one thing I want to make clear, you are predominantly a sheller, but you do buy nuts from the individuals in Troy. There's not that many people buying pecans but y'all, is that right?
That's about it. There used to be many people, but there's some dealers in different towns. One thing we run into, of course, with local pecans, you get some issues that you don't deal with when you get pecans from like a truckload of pecans.
Yeah, like from Georgia or somewhere like that.
A truckload of pecans generally is, a lot of them come from the same grove. They're consistent, and they've gone through a cleaning plant.
Yeah.
And they've had everything blown out of them, and the cleaning plants have dryers. They're all dried to around 4% or less.
Yeah.
And we can get them in, size them, and go right into the plant. Now the local nut has some issues that we have to deal with, and they're not dry.
Yeah.
And you know how much rain we've been having this year.
Exactly.
And in fact, a lot of people have been disappointed because their nuts have been turned down because they've been too wet.
Yeah, exactly.
We just can't buy wet nuts.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I look for pecan trees all the time, and I don't see many pecans, especially in Troy. I do not see many pecan trees that got pecans on it. Why is Troy having a problem the last couple of years?
You're talking about with the growing pecans?
Yeah, the growing pecans.
Alabama just hadn't had the crops that they have had in the past. In fact, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, everybody will recall, they just had a huge local crop.
Yeah.
In fact, it was so bad that people were lined up at the plant, and the police came in the plant one day and wanted to see me, so they told me I had to go down and move the cars out of the street. They were blocking traffic. So there was just people bringing them in from everywhere. But the last several years, we just hadn't had much around here.
And of course, now you're doing things that you haven't always done. Now, of course, like we said, a lot of your products are shipped out to candy companies across the country, across the world, and so forth. And you're very well known. Your product is very well known across the country. There's a bunch over in Greenville, everybody, that advertise on TV. Well, Whaley's compared to them. What's the name of that company?
In Greenville?
Yeah, in Greenville.
I don't know of a
Oh,
Sheller in Greenville.
Well, I mean, they got a pecan store there. Yeah, I mean, of course, y'all are Sheller.
There's one in Fort Deposit.
Yeah, what's the name? Yeah, Priesters. Yeah, Priesters. Now, Priesters, they buy from you, don't they?
No, they have a shelling operation also.
Uh-huh.
And they've had this very successful store right there off the interstate.
Yeah, that's right.
65. And people drive from Montgomery down. If you're headed south, that's kind of the stop-off place.
Yeah.
They have nice restroom facilities.
Sure,
and you can stop in there and buy some stuff and get back on 65.
We're not really giving a commercial for Priesters, but I just want to know there's a difference in a quality of Whaley's and Priesters as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
but of course,
they're good people over there.
Okay.
We're friendly competitors.
Okay, I was just wondering if y'all ever used each other sometime. Now, the fudge, somebody loves good fudge. I love fudge, and the first thing I ask people, do you have nuts in them? Because I want pecans in my fudge.
Right.
And this is one of the best gifts. And that's a heavy item, too.
It is.
So it's a lot. And, of course, a couple other things before we, on the manufacturing end, and I know, do you drink coffee?
Not too much.
Okay, I was just wondering. Yeah, okay. And now tell us about this.
That's
this is a great
kind
container
of a
here.
tub deal, so it has a little novelty value to it, and it has pecans in there.
Yeah, and this is great. This would be
get
another great item.
Roasted or natural pecans in there, and again, it has the security seal around it. It's got a little handle, and it's a cute little.
And y'all do that right there in the store.
We do. This is called the Celebration Tin.
Yeah. All right, now let's show some more divinity. Now, everybody loves divinity. Do y'all make the divinity in the store?
We have this. This is our pecans on it, but we have.
Everybody loves it. This is perfect for your stocking now. This divinity right here, and of course, again, you buy this at the store, the Whaley's pecan store. Do y'all call it? Does it have a name? Do y'all call it a Christmas store or what?
It's just the store.
Yeah, the store, and it's right there in the front, and you can't miss it. I always like to say the Little Caesars, right down from Little Caesars, there's a red light. You take either a right or a left, and it goes directly. The next block over is Whaley Pecans, and you'll see it, and easy. That phone number, 566?
3504.
3504, and that's where you can call right now and order different products or drop by and look at it yourself. Hand me that right there.
This is a real popular gift this year. This has 12 of the little
different products,
pecan pies in there.
Oh yeah, I got you.
So you can give this, and it's a nice bread basket or so to use on your table, and then you can give these pies either individually or you can just eat them yourself.
Yeah.
But it has 12 of the little, I think it's either 2 or 3 ounce pies.
Yeah, this is a wonderful
cooked
gift
in our kitchen there. That's been a real popular gift this year.
Exactly right. Now, your daughter got into the business how long ago?
She's been there about 12 years.
And
I've got my other daughter in it that Marcia retired from nursing. She was 25 years as a nurse. And so when she used to have some time off when we were real busy, so we'd say, hey, can you come help us? And she did, and then so after a while, after 25 years, she just retired from nursing, and she still keeps up her nursing license. But
y'all are in the big time in the baking business, and these, of course, these small pecan pies, you can buy them at most any grocery store. I know Piggly Wiggly carries them, and down at the beach, carousel. Of course, everybody knows where the carousel is, and they're good friends of yours.
Yeah.
And again, quality, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, are you still on? I was going to ask Mike. There's a Piggly Wiggly right there in Mountain Brook where he lives, and that is everything in there is a quality name, and that name of Whaley's is always there. And it's, now let me just say something right here too. Let's say that you want to give to something to a hunter out there.
These are 4 mini pies.
All right, those are 4 mini pies right there. Now a hunter. Now what better gift could you give a hunter? And of course this has got pecans in here, toasted or what do you say, roasted pecans or toasted pecans?
Roasted
pecans.
Either one is accurate.
And this was a great gift for your hunter out there. And of course, I'm sure y'all get a lot of calls for that. That's a beautiful container.
Beautiful tin.
Now you've got a lot of different tins that they can, when they come into the store, you can show them the tins and you'll put product in there.
We have a lot of different designs.
And look at this one right here. Now, isn't that beautiful? That is a beautiful design, and of course, again, packed with delicious Whaley pecans, and it has that label, just like that Mercedes label out there, of top quality. You would say that, or a Chevrolet, or Cadillac. Let me tell you, this is a premium product from Whaley pecans right here in Troy, and a lot of people, Bob, love the white chocolate.
Yeah, some people prefer the white, and some people prefer the. This is called the milk, and then there's a dark chocolate.
There it is. Yeah, exactly.
Like this right
and
here.
some people like the dark chocolate, don't they?
Some people like it.
And they claim the dark chocolate is better for you. Is that right?
That's what they say. Yeah.
But Whaley Pecan Company, Troy, Alabama. Again, you promote our community. It says Whaley Pecan Company, Troy, Alabama, since 1937. And I know y'all take pride in that.
We do.
Let's talk a little more about the history. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all, Whaley Pecan suffered
4 mini pies.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Whaley Pecan, ladies and gentlemen, suffered a big loss this year. Bobby Drinkard, very good friend of mine for years and years, was a faithful employee of yours for how many years?
37 years.
37 years. I know it gets sort of emotional to talk about it, but he bought the pecans. He would go to
he was
Georgia.
Our buyer. I told people he was like a bird dog. I could take a handful of pecans and hold it under his nose, and I'd tell him to go to Georgia and buy some of these. And he'd leave, and no matter how short the crop was or whatever, he would find them and bring them in.
Ladies and gentlemen, South Georgia, now let's talk about this a little bit. Of course, Bobby Drinkard worked for him and was a huge value to your company. And, of course, a great guy, too. And, in fact, he and I were good friends. And we worked at J.W. Renfro's when we were young, Renfro Pecan Company. But to go to Georgia right now, the leading state in the country for producing pecans is where?
It was Georgia. Was the number
The
one.
state of Georgia produces more pecans, and everybody calls them the peach state. They ought to be called the pecan state.
Right. Of course, they grow a lot of Vidalia onions over there.
Exactly,
too,
they sure do. That's good.
You know.
Must be good soil over there or
It
something.
is.
And but again, you go to South Georgia, you take, and it's pretty much around. You go down to Hartford. I mean, go down to Dothan and cut across down there. That's where most of it, all of it is. Abbeville, going across to Georgia, a lot of
Right.
big farms.
Of course, unfortunately, this year, due to that Hurricane Michael that came through,
Yeah, that's right.
Georgia actually lost about 17% of their trees this year due to that storm, and it completely devastated Bainbridge and Camilla,
Yeah.
and Albany took a major hit, and Cordele, and then as it went on out of the state, but it literally put a lot of growers out of business.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is another thing I can't understand. Georgia has pecans every year, and Alabama has pecans every other year or every other year. Why is that?
It's just a quirk of nature. It's just agricultural, like
And of course, these are big pecan farmers. I mean,
Right.
with thousands of trees. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah. It's not unusual in Georgia for somebody to have, 2,000 acres of trees
Yeah.
and 2,500.
It's huge business, isn't it?
Big business.
Now, y'all are probably just a small buyer. Is that right? Or compared to some of the buyers, is that right?
Well, Georgia.
We're talking about countries order pecans from
Right.
Georgia,
Well,
don't they?
China used to use maybe 80 million pounds out of Georgia. And Georgia will produce, Georgia has the capability, I don't know after the storm it's reduced, but before they had a pre-storm capability of as many as 150 or 60 million pounds of pecans,
Isn't that amazing?
which is huge. But there's other places that have started growing pecans, and they have even without this tariff, China would eventually not be buying as many
Yeah.
pecans out of that because
Yeah.
South Africa has 40 to 50 million pounds.
So
now.
they're getting big in the pecan business.
and
South
their
Africa.
and their crop comes in, new crop in July.
Yeah.
So China can buy their pecans for the Chinese New Year in July, a new crop, and bring them in. It gives them time to
Yeah.
get them ready, and then
The
they-
tariff. Explain the tariff on pecans.
It's about 46% tariff.
I mean, so what I'm saying.
It would make a pecan in the shell in China cost like $4.70 or 80 cents,
a pound.
which is just too high for
Yeah.
the Chinese consumer. So they.
So really, what Trump thought was going to bring a lot of revenue, a lot of money, cash money into the United States, it's really hurt the farmers, hasn't it?
The ones that sold to China, of course.
Did you sell to China?
No, we didn't sell to China, but we were primarily buyers of in-shell. But many people in Georgia had pretty well put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And then when you remove that basket, it was like, who moved my cheese?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
No question about it. We're learning about the history, and this is a
Little Christmas tree
little
ornaments.
Christmas tree ornament. And of course,
yeah.
and again, this is a fun store. You're going to see all kinds of items, and when one of your girls come up, they can package anything you want. They can put anything you want in these packages. I always like y'all still have the state of Alabama
We do, the Alabama basket.
basket.
It's real popular. Yeah.
And of course, you can put Auburn wrapping on it, or Alabama wrapping, or Troy wrapping.
Right.
And again, these products go all over the country, and the base of this country is located right here in Troy, and we appreciate them so much. And of course, again, these pecan pies will hold up how long usually?
They'll last 5 or or 6 months, probably.
Yeah.
You can put them in the refrigerator, and they may last longer than that.
Now, let me tell you something else about pecans that I've learned from you. We've been doing it for the last 10 or 15 years, had you on my show. Ladies and gentlemen, you can freeze pecans.
That's correct.
Now, do you freeze them in the shell or outside the shell?
Either way. Now, when we get these pecans in these truckloads, we have a large in-shell freezer.
Yeah.
That's around 16 degrees Fahrenheit, and we put the
Ooh, do you have to go in there sometime?
You ought to go in there and take inventory.
Yeah, I'm going to come by there and let you show me one day, you know.
But we put them in there, and then we'll take them out, shell them, and then they go back into another freezer.
Yeah.
So you have to keep them cold to keep them fresh.
Yeah, but so you can, like shell pecans, let's just say these, not the roasted, but the plain shell pecans, you can stick that in a freezer and you can use it for years, can't you? If you wanted to.
You can take this and put it in the freezer, the zero freezer up there, and it'll last a couple of years.
Yeah.
And you can, the beauty that it has low moisture, so you can take it out of the freezer and use some and fold it up and stick it back in the freezer.
Exactly, yeah.
Many times with no harm done.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, like you said, to put it on ice cream or whatever in there, you can take these out and put them in a microwave or something and toast them, couldn't you?
You could.
But you don't talk much about microwaves. Can you microwave pecans?
You can. We've roasted a few in microwave.
Yeah.
It's
But
fast,
but you'd rather y'all got the big ovens though to roast them. Is that right?
Well, we have a fryer that we roast them in.
Yeah.
Now the pies are baked in these convection ovens.
Yeah, I got you.
Where you stick
I'm gonna come by and look at. Go back to the big container right there. Could I call you up and say, would you roast those pecans?
We can put roasted in there. Yeah.
You can, but you're not going to roast the pecan for the like no one could say, well, I want to buy this, and would you roast them for me?
We would.
Y'all do any of that?
We would roast pecans and then put them in there.
I got you.
We don't.
I got you.
Public.
Well, exactly. I understand.
It's just not enough.
But that's a lot of roasted pecans right there, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Of course, during the holiday season, pecans are more prevalent, but I love them year round, and I love to eat them, and they're good for you. Tell us about that.
Pecans, a handful of pecans a day, in a study the industry did, will lower your cholesterol by 16%.
That is really good.
It's better than the heart healthy diet.
Yeah. Everybody talks the same thing of now cashews, and you also sell cashews. Is that right?
Sell a few of those, yeah.
So you can get cashews if you want them, and how about almonds? You don't get into almond business,
do you? We don't sell the almonds.
Yeah. But all those nuts are good for you. Is that right?
Nuts are generally, whether it's peanuts or almonds or pistachios or pecans, they all have a certain amount of antioxidants in them. Is where the benefit comes from.
You've been around pecans all your life. Do you still like to eat them?
Oh yeah.
Do you really? What is your favorite? The salted or the chocolate?
I eat some of those, and like I said, we're encouraged to taste pecans around the plant to just make sure that they're good.
Exactly. Well, one of the prime reasons that I brought you on here is not only to talk about Troy, Alabama, and this great industry that's been around since 1937. It started by one family, your granddaddy, and your daddy took it another step, didn't he? Your dad, of course, he and your beautiful mother. And ladies and gentlemen, this is something that I'm sure you're used to. They died on the same day?
A couple of days apart. Yeah.
And of course, a beautiful couple, and lived on George Wallace Drive for years. And was it George Wallace?
It was.
Yeah, that's right. For years, back before the road went all the way to the interstate. Is that right?
It used to be years ago. It used to be College Drive.
That's right.
And right across from that house, you remember there used to be a riding academy.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
You could rent a horse and ride it around.
I went to a birthday party at your house one time. I don't know how I got invited, but because you're a couple of years older than I am. And I think we went riding. But those were all woods for a long time, isn't that right?
Right, we almost stepped on every snake. And Philip Brantley and I used to walk home from school, and we would take off our shoes and roll up our breeches legs and walk right down the middle of the branch with all the water moccasins.
Yeah, I used to listen. People, I hunt snakes. I get excited about killing a snake, but we'll talk about something else. But again, you lost your mom and your dad pretty much at the same time, and but lovely, lovely people. And he was really one of the leading pecan people in the country at one time.
He was very well known. He used to have a farm supply business too downtown.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was, I think, president of the Alabama Seedmen's Association one time, and he was on the Alpha board of directors, the Alpha Insurance. In Montgomery, and of course he
then went all over the country talking about pecans and the new. Of course, he started from the very beginning. Cracking. All they could do was crack them, and they get you could get them cracked, and you would take them home and peel them out. You can still do that. Is that right?
Do, yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, like if I say, would you crack those pecans?
We've done a lot of cracking for the public this year. We don't shell them, but we crack them.
Exactly.
We charge 40 cents a pound, and you can take your pecans and we'll weigh them and then put them in the crackers, and it cracks them to the point where you can just shell them out yourself.
Exactly right. Of course, you went on to the University of Alabama and came back and took over the business. And of course, you've been in business now. You're a former president of the National Pecan Association, is that right?
Right. Several years ago, I served as chairman or president.
But you've been all over the country to conventions and so forth, haven't you?
We have a convention. In fact, the convention this year was in San Diego, California, and
was that fun?
It was a lot of fun, and I actually went on a deep sea fishing trip out of San Diego, and we went down into Mexican waters, and you had to have a passport to go down there, and we caught one fish I'd never seen or heard of called a skipjack, and we caught over 100 of them.
Well, were they good to eat?
Oh, they supposed to be.
Well, I will have to mention this. He had a dilemma, though. There was a dilemma out there whether you should be a professional fisherman or work in the pecan business. You found out in a hurry that you could make more money in the pecan business. Is that right?
I didn't. It was something I enjoyed. Of course, the bad thing now is most of my fishing is armchair fishing because I just don't have time to go.
Now, the pecan brittle, and ladies and gentlemen, this is the best brittle in the country, in the world. I'm telling you, the pecan brittle, not peanut brittle, but pecan brittle. And it has, like you said, it's easier to chew. It's got a great flavor. And this is for somebody that's got everything. How did y'all get involved in this? Do y'all do this yourself, or do you have it done?
We have it done. We were selling pecans to somebody that made the brittle.
Sure.
So we have a lot of products that we like to sell the manufacturer pecans, and then we buy their product back and repackage it and sell it in our store.
Now I know Stuckey's. Everybody knows Stuckey's across the country. Stuckey's for years and years. It's not as popular as it used to be, but it still is very popular. It carried your products, and you can see that. Now, who are some big name candy companies that y'all do business with?
Well, they're mostly praline type candy companies.
Out of New Orleans, is that right?
Most of them are out of New Orleans, and they sell under various names.
Now, you take advantage of the opportunity to go down there and check those folks out, don't you?
I don't go as much as I'd like to, but I love New Orleans. In fact, you have these little dancers and all in New Orleans on the sidewalk. And,
exactly.
And somebody was telling me that they were going down the sidewalk in New Orleans, and they saw these little dancers, and they always have a box out there that you put money in.
Yeah.
And they looked over there, and it was a Whaley pecan box.
Well, I'll tell you this now. You take this little praline, and it's great for stocking stuffers. But this is your quality praline that you can only get in New Orleans. Isn't that right?
Well, they make them at various places, but New Orleans is known for the pralines.
Well, let me ask this. Of course, I know your girls are getting into it, and you're doing a lot of baking. You're getting into that business, and how's that going? Are you shipping a lot of pecan pies?
We are.
Is it as good a pecan pie as that? You're gonna have to leave that with me, and let me just test it.
We'll let you
test it and say, Bob. Now, see, Michael loves the chocolate pecan pie. He loves it.
Yeah.
And I forgot. No, but what I'm saying, I'm more of a traditional guy myself. But he, really enjoys the chocolate pecan pie. They the Country's Barbecue used to make a chocolate pecan pie.
Yeah.
And they're no longer here, but just a few people that I know that still do that a lot. Now, there are so many other ways, and you've got a condensed type of pecan where you can actually put it over cereal and things like that. It's like a.
You talking about the pieces or something, or?
No. You can. It's a pecan. It's. Oh, I probably don't know what I'm talking about, but it's something that you can just sprinkle over your cereal or so forth.
The little midget pieces or so, the small pieces?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We have various sizes. There's no sense in buying pecan halves, which are the most expensive part,
that's right.
and cutting them up, because we have pieces we have mammoth, large, medium, small, midget.
When it comes down to it for cooking, no question about it, this year leading seller right here. Is that right?
That's right.
And of course, and I love pecans in my, especially my pies and over ice cream. I just love pecans, and of course you've got them. Now, give us the times and the dates for your store.
It's from 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday, and this time of the year we're open till 12 o'clock on Saturdays. And we'll hang around
on Christmas Eve.
I've even hung around on Christmas Eve. I was the only one left in the building, but I told Mary and all, as long as somebody wanted some pecans for Christmas Eve, then
then of course the
them.
store has Christmas music. It's just a beautiful place to be. It really is. If you want to get into the Christmas spirit, go by there today, and they'll take care of your order. And wonderful. It's just a wonderful place. Whaley Pecan Company, located on Pecan Street, right here in Troy. And Bob, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Well, we appreciate it, and we appreciate everybody in the general public that comes by and visits the store, and we hope everybody will have a really good experience when they come by there.
No question about it, and this guy right here is running the show. Whaley Pecan Company, Troy, Alabama, since 1937. One of the great places to shop in Troy, Alabama. We talk about shopping Troy this Christmas. Shop Whaley Pecan Company, and those taxes go back into the fund here in Troy, Alabama.
That's right.
Merry Christmas from Whaley's. We'll be back bright and early Monday morning tomorrow morning for Today in L.A. Merry Christmas from the staff and the management of Troy Cablevision. Ladies and gentlemen.